Hey there, welcome to your December 12th version of Lumio Live. We have a special guest today, and we'll be talking all about the Lumio Library. So I'd like to introduce you to Holly. Would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself, Holly?
Hey everybody, my name is Holly. I am a digital content manager here at Lumio. Also, like most of us here, I'm a former teacher. I taught middle and high school social studies. So I'm excited to be with you today. The other thing that well, not just as a teacher, but as a human, Lois, I love books, right? And books are like my favorite thing. So I'd love for all of you who are here with us today to join us. As we're just taking a quick break and talking about how Lumio can help spark student engagement, get students thinking actively and critically, but also save teachers time. Because what do we all want for Christmas? More time for teachers, right? So if everyone would love to join me, you can join me by going to on my Lumio lesson by going to hellosmart.com and going to hellosmart.com and entering my class code 624070. And Veronica's got that added in the screen across the bottom as well. So you can go ahead and join me live because I want to hear from all of you about, I'm sure we all love books because if you're a teacher, you really probably should love books. So what I want to know, and we're going to do a quick shout it out. So I'm going to move my screen here, but don't worry, it's still rolling across the bottom. What I'd love to hear from all of you is I'd love to hear, are you a bookstore buyer or a library borrower? Where do you get your books? And tell us why. So do you like to go to the bookstore because you're like Lois, you can see her bookshelf behind her. She needs to have all the books. I totally understand. Or do you like to go to the library? And tell us why. Tell us why you like to do either one. So, okay, Lois, you put yourself in both categories. Tell
I
me,
mean, I have to though, right? Because if my head is not in the clouds, it's definitely in a book. So I love holding books. So I go to the bookstore and kind of peruse what's out there, add things to my list of what I need, because we all need books, right? Those are not wants. But I also love the experience of the library. Like I spent so much of my youth in the library, just losing myself in books. And the librarians were always super helpful in helping me find the things that would bring me joy, right? So
yes.
I feel like if you need to add something to your personal bookshelf, you have to go to the bookstore. But if you're looking for that experience or you need some assistance, you don't know what you're looking for, the librarians are always there to help.
100%. Yeah, libraries are like one of my favorite places on the planet. Like libraries categorically. Shout out to my mom for taking us to the library all the time when we were kids. And so libraries are like my happy place. And I love also, I just read too many books to possibly buy them all. So I love the library for that reason. But the thing about a bookstore is you don't have to take the books back, right? Like you get to keep them. And the other thing about buying your books is that like you can write in them, right? So if it's like a professional learning book or like a cookbook, right? You need to take notes on your favorite recipes. Like then you need to have your own version of it so that you can write all over it. So I totally see the best of both worlds. And you know what? Lumio is really the best of both worlds, right? The Lumio library show gives you the goodness of the free resources, but you get to keep them. You don't have to give them back. There's no fines or fees, and you even get to customize them to meet your needs. And that's what we're going to look at today, Lois. First of all, just like your own library, which gets new books all the time, probably, the Lumia library gets restocked with fresh content all the time. And we love Green Dot Day. When you see a green dot here on your Lumia library tab, that tells you that there are fresh resources for you to check out in the Lumia library. And then Then this is where we get to like the bookstore side of it, because you can save things to your own library, have them on hand anytime you need them. And what we're going to take a look at specifically today is how to customize library pages to meet the needs of your students in your lessons, and be exactly what you and your students need. So I'm going to be showing us the Lumio library. So I'm going to end this Lumio lesson, but those of you that have joined us live, you can just keep the tab open and it'll be there because we're going to come back to this lesson a little later. So just leave it right open, but I'm going to go ahead and end my lesson so that we can look at the Lumio library specifically. So here's my Lumio library tab, and the Lumio library, if you haven't explored it before, tons of incredible categories here. Lots of good stuff. Anything you could need. My favorite, well, I have many favorite categories. One of my favorite categories is the graphic organizers category because there is so much good stuff there to help students organize their thinking. Lois, what's your favorite library category?
Yeah, I would also have to say graphic organizers. I taught English, reading, writing, and study skills. So there's ReadWorks has some great graphic organizers there that work with any single book. The resources by Epic, you don't have to have an Epic subscription. Really, they work with any book, and you can also search by grade level, which makes it nice.
Absolutely. Today, we're going to look specifically at the featured section of the Lumio library, which is where generally the new resources are put. They're often very seasonal with whatever's going on. Lots of good stuff here for all different grades, all different subject areas. I specifically want to talk today about this New Year's resolution lesson. So when you find a great lesson that you're excited about, you want to learn more about, you can open it up, you can click through the pages and preview it. And then if you're like, oh yeah, I really like this, you can save that lesson to your library. I've already saved this one to my library, so I'm not going to actually hit that button, but let's go look at it in my library. So once I've saved it to my library, I can then edit it to meet exactly what my students need. So you'll see this lesson is designed to get students kind of going in the new year when you come back to school in January, making a new year, a new start. I like that idea of starting fresh. The first thing I want to do, though, is I want to edit this just a little bit. This shouted out question is about celebrating the new year. Maybe students didn't celebrate. I want to make sure that they have no excuses for participating. So when I click on this, I can just hit this lock button. I can unlock it. And now I can really easily edit the text. So instead, I'm just going to change this to what was one fun thing you did over winter break, just to be a little more all-inclusive of a question. There we go. And so now it's ready to go. And it's great how even when a lesson comes from the Lumio library, I can just easily unlock anything and personalize it to exactly, again, what I need. If I think the brains are adorable, but if you don't like the brains, you can unlock them and you can get rid of them there.
No, you're not allowed to get rid of the brains. The brains are my favorites.
I know you love the brains, Lois. They are so cute. You know, this next shouted out question is thinking about the past year, but I want my students to be specifically thinking about first semester and setting goals for second semester, right? So I'm going to just change this lesson I'm going to change the question to think about the first semester. What are some things that you did or accomplished that you're proud of? Perfect. It's ready to go. Now, later on in this lesson, there's some really great fun stuff about setting New Year's resolutions. I love it. But again, I want my students specifically setting goals for the new semester. And I've previously taught my students about SMART goals. So I'm going to bring in now, super easily bring in some pages from a previous lesson I have. I'm just going to come here to the page that I want to insert after. I use this blue button here, and I'm going to import a resource from my library. This one right here, SMART goal setting, this is the one I want. But what's great too is I don't have to add all the pages. I can select just the pages I want. So I want this one to help remind them of what SMART goals are. And this is the goal setting page, and then a shout it out. So I'm just going to add those pages there.
I really love that, Holly, how you can take things that you use frequently, because SMART goals is one thing that I covered with my students all the time, right? And so having that template available that you can just pull into any activity, because let's be honest, you can set goals for anything. And just having that reminder of what a SMART goal is amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I completely agree. It's so easy to mix and match resources in Lumio and making it super easy. Let's be real, we all reuse resources all the time, but you need them in a different format. Easy peasy, right? I'm just super easily pulling them into this lesson. I've got my page here reminding my students what a SMART goal is. I've got a handout for them to set a specific SMART goal for this semester. And if I want, I can easily edit this to give them more specific instructions. Like maybe I want them to write a SMART goal specifically. Write your SMART goal for second semester here. Can easily update it, personalize it. And then I've got to shout it out for my students, asking them what their SMART goal was. So easy peasy, just like that. I've got this great lesson. I mean, we've been working on this for what, maybe 5 minutes? And I have a lesson where I pulled things from the Lumio library. I edited them to meet my own needs. I brought in a previous resource that I had, and now I'm all good to go. That is what I love about the Lumio library, is that the resources are there at your fingertips, and totally you can use them to inspire that active learning. So let's go back to our live lesson. So I'm going to hit start again, and it should, if you've still got your lesson tab open, it should automatically restart it for you. And I'd love to hear now from all of you. I've got a response question, and the question is, what type of lessons are you excited to find in the Lumio library? So if you want to just go ahead and tell me on your Lumio lesson tab there, what type of lessons are you excited? Maybe things you've already used from the Lumio library that you love the most. Love those games. There's all kinds of great games. Maybe it's a lesson on fractions. We've got some great math fractions. There's a really fantastic category with history lessons. We've got some incredible categories with music lessons, all kinds of stuff. So tell us, what kinds of things are you excited to find in the Lumio library? Got some good stuff coming in here in our word cloud. Valentine's Day, don't worry, we got you covered. There's going to be Valentine's Day stuff come like end of January, early February. It's going to be there. It's going to be good. What do you most love? So we talked about the epic category. Lois, we talked about ReadWorks. What else have you seen that you love from the Lumio library?
So I would say even more than that, I love the manipulatives because it
Yes.
really just allows students to access manipulatives from anywhere. I
Mm-hmm.
know my boys are extremely rough on everything, and I was constantly replacing teachers' manipulatives because we would lose them. So it's great that you can't lose them. And when you need them for doing your homework, you can access them from any device as well, right?
I completely agree. Love those manipulatives. So, whatever it is you're most excited to find in the Lumio library, I would like to encourage you to challenge yourself to try it out. We've got our monthly Lumio challenge to explore the Lumio library and add a resource to your My Library. Customize it as you need, and then share a link to that favorite resource, or you can share a picture of your students in action. Post it to Lumio Challenge on any of your social on your social channels. And once a month, we will pick some winners. So win some great prizes. And as we wrap up today, I just wanted to share all about the free resources. Here are the resources that we used today. If you saw anything that inspired you, you can just click the links right here on your Lumio lesson tab screen, or you can go to our live stream page and the resources will be there too. So if you want today's Lumio lesson with exactly the way that we edited it, you are welcome to join us. Get the link to that. If you liked that New Year's resolution lesson or the SMART goals lesson, we've got all those links. So, Lois, what's next?
Yeah, so I highly recommend that. And I also love that Holly shared her lesson with me, and I was able to edit it myself for what I was doing. So don't forget that you can share that with your teacher friends. Um, it has been a really great year for Lumio and Lumio Live. We've added lots of features, so you can always check that out and see what that looks like. We won't be back until the new year, but we will be taking some well deserved vacation and break with you. But we will see you back in January, and we look forward to seeing what you have done with Lumio on our social challenge.
Fantastic. Thanks everyone for joining us today. Have a fantastic holiday season. We'll see you all in January.